So, as you might have noticed when you're doing woodwork, there's a lot of sawdust generated and it flies everywhere. What you may not know is when you inhale a lot of sawdust, it can cause lots of respiratory illnesses and problems such as asthma and bronchitis. So obviously, if you love woodworking, you're not going to stop woodworking in fear of getting these illnesses. But what you can do is wear a respirator that prevents you from inhaling a majority of these particles. And in this video, we will be talking about respirators, the protection provided by the respirators, and so much more. So respirators are essential to use when you're working with any medium that produces any fumes or dust like particulates in the air that can get airborne. So there are different types of filters and cartridges that go along with filter based and cartridge based respirators. So there are different ratings for the filtration and protection provided by the respirator. So there are letters and numbers. So the letters come N, R and P, and this N, R and P is in regards to the protection that the filter has against like damage from oil, and not like oil like the fumes from like an oil based polyurethane or any polyurethane, but this is like petroleum degradation. So like when oil, maybe in an oil rig or a machinist shop, oil can land up on the filters and that can degrade the filters. So N stands for it's not resistant to petroleum degradation, R means it's resistant to petroleum degradation, and P means it's proof, so it's completely resistant against petroleum degradation over a long period of time. So the numbers are in regards to the efficiency of the filter in filtration of particles that are bigger than 3/10 of a micron. So the numbers regard to the filtration provided, and the letters are in regards to like the protection from oil degradation or petroleum degradation on the filter. So you get three main numbers, which is 95, 99 and 100. So 95% gives you 95% filtration, 99 gives you 99% filtration, and 100 gives you 99.97%, not 100%, so 99.97% filtration. So and common numbers we see is N95 mass. So that means it's not resistant to petroleum degradation, and it filters out 95% of the particulates in the air that are bigger than 3/10 of a micron. So then you may get N99, then you may get P100. So that's like completely resistant to petroleum degradation, and it provides 99.97% protection from like filtrates and like particles in the air. And these filters with the numbers that N, R and P and 95, 99, 100, they don't refer to protection against fumes from like polishes, polyurethanes, chemicals. These numbers and letters don't talk about that. But for protection against fumes, you would require an activated carbon filter, or it's called an organic vapor filter, which basically has activated carbon that can basically block out the fumes and not let you inhale the fumes. So for fumes, you require an activated carbon filter, but for dust particulate protection, you have the NRP and 95, 99, 100. So why is inhaling sawdust a concern? Why do we have to wear a respirator? So according to the International Agency for Research on Cancer, they state that it's a group 1 carcinogen which causes cancer in the nasal area, and it can cause sinus issues. So it can cause cancer in around this area. So sawdust is also associated with causing irritation of eyes, nose and the throat. And many species are known to cause allergic reactions to humans. So what are the side effects of not wearing a respirator? So as mentioned before, the sawdust itself, when you inhale large quantities of sawdust over a period of time, not just in one shot you just inhale a lot of sawdust, but over a period of time, many illnesses, respiratory illnesses can develop. So such as asthma, bronchitis, it can even decrease the lung capacity. So it decreases lung capacity to a certain extent. So it also irritates the eyes, nose and throat. And it can cause many people who have inhaled a lot of sawdust over a period of time may also experience shortness of breath, drynesses and sore throat. as well as conjunctivitis, and like where basically the inside of your eye, the membranes in your eyes start to swell up, and also develop cases of runny nose. Western red cedar is a wood that has a clear association with the development of asthma in people who have been exposed to the sawdust of that wood. So, and there are many other woods that can cause respiratory illnesses and many other irritation of the eyes, nose, throat. It can also cause allergic reactions. So there are many woods that can do that. So you have to really be careful and not and wear a respirator actively to prevent inhaling the sawdust. Could you just tell me a little bit about ABRA sales and retailing of 3M product?
Okay. So we at ABRA are basically we are distributors for industrial machineries and safety products. We've been working with 3M for the past almost 8 years now in the safety products and abrasives. We've been doing 3M abrasives since a long time. And we started with safety since 8-9 years. And we specialize in respirators of 3M and eye protection and hearing protection. That's our specialty with 3M, working in those fields. Other than 3M, then we have other brands as well, which are for fall protection, which are used in construction sites or where there is high height labor involved. So there are safety belts, safety harnesses, safety nets,
helmets, and all.
So those are basically not needed for a normal person, but they are used in construction sites mostly, or where there are fire safety norms and all. So they use it. So they kept it for emergency if anything happens. So it's kept.
Okay, yeah. So what are like the PPE quality variants that are there in the market? So like ranging from low quality to high quality. Like what is kind of like the quality variant in the market for safety products?
PPE. Okay. So safety, basically the quality is determined by the certification it has. Okay. So there are different agencies which certify the safety products. For in India, the safety product standard is ISI. ISI mark is the mark which a safety product should have. Even if you buy a helmet for riding a bike, it should have an ISI mark. ISI mark means the product is of good quality. It is actually a very vague term, but that is how it is in India. That ISI means the quality of the product is good. If you see globally, USA, there is a NIOSH certification.
Yeah.
Okay. The NIOSH is given to respirators and other safety products. So the full form of NIOSH is actually National Institute for Occupational Safety and Health.
Yeah.
So the USA government has formed this institute wherein they bring all the products to themselves and they test all the products and then they give the certification to it. So in India, if you see respirators, 3 companies have the NIOSH certification for respirator. First being 3M in India.
Okay.
First being 3M, second being Venus, and third being Magnum. There are again different norms for the EU region. EU as in the European region, they have CE certification. Then there is NC certification. NC is ANSI.
Yeah. And also, so why like those you know how you get those and like those paper N95 masks or whatever those are, like why should you not use those compared to a respirator? Not in the COVID setting, but in a workshop setting, like those paper or cloth N95 what mask or whatever dust filters they call. What is the like? Is there like any safety benefit to using a respirator over those, or like is it the same, or is the respirator more protective, or how does it go?
See, to give you a basic example, how a respirator is different than a mask. Raghav, you have a respirator. So whenever you put on a respirator, you can see that the entire portion is sealed completely. There is a silicon casing which completely seals your face. So there is no scope of entrance of particles or fumes from down below or upside.
Yeah.
When you use a normal regular mask and it goes from here, it packs you from here and here.
Mhm.
There is no ear loop involved. If you see any 3M mask, there is not a single 3M mask which has ear loops.
The respirator types.
Respirator types, the regular masks, they are all over the head.
Yeah.
Even the regular masks that you see, they have strings that go from up.
Yes.
This is a normal N95 that you get in a medical store,
Yeah.
which has ear loops on it.
Yeah.
So it actually doesn't seal your face very
Okay.
properly.
Okay.
So
So basically,
any NIOSH mask you see, even Venus, they have a spring type mechanism. They don't have ear loop mechanism because
oh.
ear loop doesn't seal it completely from this side. From here, it stays open. There's no
Yeah.
pressure involved from this. It's just here and here.
Okay. So
Yeah.
like
And
these like these disposable type respirators, like the creating a seal
see,
is like the most important thing, right?
yeah.
Okay. Okay.
And when you wear a mask, right? When you wear a 3M respirator, you can feel the difference. While
Yes.
if you're working with dust or working with fumes, you can feel the difference that you're not able to smell the dust or the wood particles.
Yeah. Yeah.
And after a while, when you use the respirator and when you try to remove the filter, you will see the filter might be having a lot of dirt on it because it has collected all the dirt and stopped it from entering your lungs, which is very harmful.
Yeah. So speaking of filters and cartridges, like what are the primary types of filters and cartridges that you get to put in a respirator? And this is not like those disposable type ones with the straps or stuff. This is like the ones where you put in a filter or a cartridge, like the 6000 series or the 3000 series or like this HF52, like that kind of stuff.
So, the best part about respirators is you can put a lot of variety of cartridges on your or filters on your respirator. So even the HF52 that you have, you can put a vapor cartridge on it. If you're going to be working, let's say with a lot of paint involved, then you can use a vapor cartridge.
Yeah.
Okay. Apart from that, then if you go to the 6200 series, then there is 6200, 6300.
Yeah.
Then there is 7502.
Yeah.
All those series of respirators, you can also have the P100 filter.
Yeah, that is so we will also be discussing about like the alphabetical and the numerical significance of like filter, so we'll be discussing that later. So types of filters, so you get for basically you get it for dust protection and fume protection, and you
Correct.
can get specific, like if you're working with, let's say, a specific chemical fume, then you can in most cases 3M will have a specific filter that goes for that,
Yeah.
right?
Correct.
Okay. So have you noticed any difference between a cartridge respirator or a filter respirator? So this HF52 respirator I have, it says it's a filter respirator. So it has that filter that places into the front part. Whereas like the 6000 or 6200 series, that has like a cartridge that locks on. So have you noticed any difference in that?
No, see, the one which you have, HF52, you can put up a vapor cartridge on it. You can use that cartridge there's a circular opening where you mount it. So instead of you already have a filter holder and then you put a filter inside, right now.
Yeah.
So the filter holder and the filter goes away and you directly put a vapor cartridge on it.
Okay.
So there is basically no difference in terms of the operation. It's just how comfortable the mask is. So even in 3M, there's a series called 3M 1200 series, which is like an economy series, which the pricing is below 1000 rupees. So that is basically for where people are a bit more price oriented or in the industry. Okay, so when companies are buying PPEs for like say 1000 employees, So even a pricing difference of 500-600 matters a lot to them.
Of course, of course.
So for that product, for that category, Thame has got a low
Affordable.
cost, affordable one.
Yeah.
Affordable respirator.
So,
Okay.
why are respirators or why are respirators and PPE essential in woodworking or any industry such as like metalworking, woodworking, etc.?
Okay. So any industry where you are dealing with goods in which dust is produced, fumes is produced. Let's say you're doing welding. So when you're welding, there is a lot of fume that are produced while you're welding because the metal is burnt.
Yeah.
So a lot of toxic fumes are uh, that come up in the air from the welding, and you inhale that. So when you're inhaling that, you're basically inhaling the metal,
Hmm.
and then it settles down in your lungs, and over a period, it's like slow poisoning.
Yeah.
So immediately you won't feel sick. Probably you would feel a bit uncomfortable for some time,
Catches up to you
but
later.
over the period, yeah. Same goes with sawdust. Sawdust is not very good for your health.
Yeah.
Whenever you're woodworking, you're polishing or you're cutting wood with a
Landing.
circular saw or with a paper
Yeah.
saw. So a lot of dust is generated, which sometimes is not even visible to the naked eye,
Hmm.
but it's in minute microns. You
Yeah.
inhale it through the air, and it goes and settles down in your lungs. So it's basically like smoking. When you smoke in all the tar and the nicotine, which settles down in your lungs. This is
Yeah.
a similar process.
Yeah. So it causes a slow death over time. Like it'll catch up to you. Like if you don't feel
Yeah,
it immediately.
yeah, it does. Like
Okay.
it
So
is a proven thing, and you can find a lot of information about it on a lot of government websites. You can find a lot of information about it given by doctors on YouTube, where they speak about how hazardous it is to work around
okay.
welding equipments, or when you're even woodworking,
Okay.
or when you're working around with paint, because the paint fumes are also not very good for your health.
Yeah, yeah, it has that pungent odor that's always lying around. Like even if you have like shut the can or the paint has dried, like after you've done the work, that odor is still there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
maybe thinner. Thinner smell is also not.
yeah.
Uh, it's not
So
actually smell. It's a few. When you smell it,
when it
minute
evaporates,
minute particles are going inside your nose.
yeah,
That's why you smell it. So it's the vapor or the odor that is coming in, and those very minute particles are getting into nose and then settling down in your lungs.
okay, yeah,
So your body does a very good job at filtering it out, but
yeah,
most part is filtered out by your nose itself. But a lot of it goes again inside again.
yeah,
Your
yeah.
nose is also basically like a respirator. It filters stuff. Your
Yeah, so
nostrils
like the
filter stuff.
hairs inside the nose, like they try to catch as many particles. So like at the end of the day, like you might have like some mucus that's generated up, but then like when you
Yeah,
breathe from your mouth, that doesn't filter anything, but your nose tries to filter as much. But to like us
yeah,
like help your like body work better and your nose work better, like the respirator allows you to filter more particles, right?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay. Yeah.
My advice to anyone who's like into woodworking or metalworking or any kind of DIY usage, wherein they know that they're gonna generate a lot of dust and they're gonna inhale it. I would recommend them to wear a respirator instead of a cloth mask, or basically a lot of people use a bandana. Yeah. So even right now, there's a lot of misconception people have about surgical masks. Surgical masks, exist since a long time. So the only purpose of surgical masks before COVID was like people. If you ask any doctor, it didn't mean that the doctor is being protected from the patient's infection. Surgical masks were used basically during surgeries. If you see in the movies and everything, when the doctor is doing a surgery, he's wearing a mask.
Yeah.
So surgical mask is used during the surgery. So whenever the doctor is speaking, nothing falls from his mouth inside the surgery or on the
Okay.
patient.
Yes.
That was the sole purpose of the surgery. Even with the head cap they used to use, their hair should not fall inside the human
Yeah.
body while the surgery is happening, which may cause infection. So there is no filtration involved in surgical masks. You can see on internet there's a lot of misinformation regarding surgical masks, which say that a surgical mask provide 95% filtration accuracy. I don't think so that is the case. If you want to see, if you want to check if your filter or if your mask is, um, safe or it's filtering stuff, you can probably light up
A candle in
any
front of you and try to put it
candle
to the mask.
candle incense stick. You can light it up and you can try to smell it. If it's a cotton mask or a surgical mask, you will start smelling it immediately. If
Yeah.
it is a respirator like the one which you are using, you would still probably get a hint of the smell, but it won't be that strong.
Yeah, of course. And it also depends on the filter you're using, right?
Correct. Yeah, that's
And
100% true. And how how much time it has been
use
since you're
also
using the filter. So filters
the degradation over
needs to
time.
be, yeah. So the filtration accuracy starts reducing over a period of time as it
Of course.
filters out a lot of stuff. So
Yeah.
it is advised that after 2 to 3 days of usage, you should dispose of the filter.
Yeah. Like,
Again, it is very depending upon the usage.
yeah,
How you going to use it. If you're just going to use it 1 2 hours a day, then it can last you longer.
of
But
course.
if you're going to be using a lot of time, then 2 to 3 days is the advised period.
Like 2 to
Actually, if you
3. So 48 to 78 hours of usage time, not like overtime, right?
see, it is completely dependent on how much dust is getting generated,
True.
how
True.
is the air quality. It is a very vague term to say, but in the US, what happens is within 24 hours of like the span, people throw off the filter.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. So,
Yeah,
and it's essential that like it has to create a seal. Otherwise, don't even bother, right? So, if it doesn't create a
yeah,
seal, like stuff will come from the side, from the top, from the
yeah,
bottom, and we can notice that
correct,
like a good way. Like I generally judge if my respirator has created a seal. Like I wear the respirator and I cover all the inlets, and if I can't breathe in any air, I know like it's not leaking from the sides and it's not like leaking from the
correct,
filter. And also like if you're
correct,
wearing it like with safety glasses, and like if the safety glasses like they fog up, that means air is leaking.
correct. That's true.
Yeah. So like if you can like see the glasses fogging up, you can see that like air is passing through, that means it's open and stuff will come in from there, so it's not created a proper seal.
That's true.
Okay. Okay.